Hello friends! So on Instagram, I posted the other day and asked for some questions, and I got a lot of really good questions that we're going to talk about here today in this video. And first, we're going to need a coffee, and we're also probably going to need to change because I'm wearing my Christmas pajamas. Today was pajama day at school, hence the pajamas. But I think it's just a little too casual for this video because it makes a lot, less sense when there's not other people wearing pajamas. So if you're wearing your pajamas, awesome, solidarity. Grab a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you want to drink, or whatever, you can just chill, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna make some coffee and change my shirt at least and answer some questions. So let's go. All right, which mug should we go with? You know what? Let's do Frosty or White Christmas. Let's go with Frosty. Let's go with Frosty. Red Frosty, blue Frosty. Red Frosty. Look how cute he is. All right, friends, we've got Frosty, we've got Tolly, and we've got questions. So I'm gonna answer these questions. We're talking about things like how to batch your days, things about hiring out, talking about coming up with different ideas and all sorts of stuff. So let's just jump right on in. The first question is from High Vibe Teaching, and it says, how do you chunk your days up for business? Like, when do you film, edit, etc.? So for that, I used to have a schedule where I did, like, on Mondays I do this, and on Tuesdays I do this, and those kind of things. But now what I do is that I only have a few things that do that. So I work every morning. As you probably know, we do the TPT morning check-in. So if you work in the morning, head over on Instagram and share your activities for the morning, and then you can use the hashtag TPT morning check-in and tag me in it so I can repost it to my stories. And that's just like a fun little thing that we do. And so I do that every morning. And then I also typically work when I get home from work. So I'll come home and then I'll work like what I'm doing right now. As far as what I do when, my only weekly recurring things are filming. I do filming every Wednesday, and then writing emails. I do that on Thursday morning. So filming is Wednesday afternoon. As soon as I get home, I usually wear what I'm wearing, fix up my makeup, and then I just get down to it. On Thursday mornings, I work on emails, and then I have a couple of like monthly recurring things. So what I've done recently is I take the last month of last week of the month, and in the last week of the month I have a different activity for each day. So like on Monday, the last week of the month, I do this, and on Tuesday I do this, and that kind of stuff. And I do those in my morning routine times when I'm working in the morning. The rest of the time, it just kind of depends on what's going on. So the rest of my mornings are typically project days. So especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Fridays. I have other things. I'm looking at my plan up on the wall. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my project days. So that's when I batch blog posts. That's when I work on courses. That's when I work on like bigger things like that. I was gonna say occasionally products, but I don't usually work on products at that time. It's usually bigger things like that. And then in the afternoons, I work on whatever needs to be done, and it's usually things that are not quite as stressful to think about. So like editing and product creation are a lot of times not difficult because a lot of my products are similar to other things. I'll use templates and things like that, which means that I can use something more than once, and so it doesn't take a lot of concentration. And so that I usually do in the afternoons, and that is, the best I can tell you for chunking is what I'm doing. That's all I'm currently doing. But I used to have like a Monday I would write blog posts, and on Tuesday I would do the graphics, and then I don't remember what I did on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Fitness Music Mama says, how much time does it take to make a product now versus when you started? That's another one that I'm like, ooh, that completely depends on the product. For example, I recently posted a Nutcracker virtual field trip project, and it is the most intense thing I have ever made. I don't think I've ever put that much effort, time, thought into any other product. Not that most of my products are bad or, quick, but I mean, literal like hours upon hours went into, like, I poured my heart and soul into this, and it's paying off because I just posted it after Thanksgiving. I posted the week of Thanksgiving. I think I posted it on like Thursday or Wednesday or something. And it's currently the 14th of December, and in less than a month it has become my best selling product ever, which is like absolutely incredible. So it was paid off. But my point is that one took forever and I spent so much time on it. But then I have other things, like I made some color by note, like color by rhythm activities the other day, and the first one took me maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then the rest took me maybe 30 minutes, because I took the same one and then I made it for different levels to make it different difficulties. So then those, I just had to go in and switch out the rhythms, and I could leave everything else in. Everyone say hi to Toddy. Hi Toddy. Hello. You're very cute. Get out my face. I can deal with her being here, just like stop getting in my face, like right here. Just, we got the camera. Gotta understand the camera. Anyway, so it completely depends on what the product is, but I will say that it is faster because I do have templates and I know what I'm doing is really the biggest thing. Even when I don't use a template, I know what I'm doing, and so I know what I want to include and I know what I want it to look like, and all of those things that I just had no idea about at the beginning. Yeah, so it definitely does take a lot less time, but there's not like a standard time because I don't have a standard product. I make a lot of different things. Make STEM proud. It says, what is one thing your business this week before I went to break, y'all. What is one thing in your business you would like to hire out ASAP? Video editing, 1000%. It's happening next year. I put it on the goal list. It's gonna be a thing. We're gonna hire a video editor, and I am gonna try to hire someone to come clean the house every like 2 weeks or something. Get all those good things. Une Belle Classe said, where did you order your logo sign from? My logo sign my husband made for me as a birthday present. He works at a sign company. I can link it down below, but it's probably going to be cheaper if you go through someone on Etsy. So I would just search Etsy logo sign. She also asked, what camera do you use for vlogging and YouTube videos? I do all my videos on the same. It's a Canon G7X Mark II. I did that one because I watched a bunch of videos, and most of the YouTubers that I typically watched used this camera, and I knew nothing about cameras, so I was like, great, if you know it's working for all of you, it must be fine. And it's a good camera. I mean, again, I know like nothing, and for me, I'm like, if I know nothing and I'm able to use it, then I am one happy camper. Oak Roots and Arrows TPT said, did you always know you wanted to be a music teacher? No, not at all. I didn't have like a big dream as a kid. You know, some people are like, I'm gonna be a teacher, I'm gonna be an astronaut, and like that is their thing as a child. I was not one of those children. I was gonna say I just kind of went with the flow, which sounds like something that doesn't normally describe me, but I didn't really have any big plans. I had, you know, a couple, you know, I was a kid and I wanted to be a ballerina. I would still love to be a ballerina, not gonna lie, but I never took ballet lessons, so that one didn't work out. Probably the things that I wanted to be the longest, for a while I wanted to be an author and an illustrator, and I would write and illustrate my own books. I even remember I wrote a book. It was 8 pages on my dad's laptop, printed it out and like illustrated it and stapled it together. I was pretty proud of myself, I'm not gonna lie. It was called Missing Bike with an exclamation point. And so that was my first book I wrote in 2nd grade. I was very proud of it, actually, I'm not gonna lie. I was very into Nancy Drew, which is why I was like, mystery book, it's gonna happen. And then when I got a little bit older, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and I used to check out all these books from the library about marine animals. I would sit there and read books about dolphins and whales and penguins. My favorite animal has pretty much always been a penguin, but I wanted to study dolphins. I don't know why I wanted to study dolphins, but penguins are my favorite animal. It's kind of a weird thing, but that's where we were. And I didn't even consider teaching elementary music until I got to college. I mean, I didn't even think that was really a thing. And in college, I was undeclared because I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was going back and forth between a couple of different things. And then I had joined choir because I loved choir. I knew I wanted to do choir. And we had our first performance, and I specifically remember, oh, I just spilled half this cup of coffee all over. I don't even really know what to do. Well, that just happened. I spilled coffee all over everything. I'm gonna scoot. I spilled coffee all over my like cushion thing and all over my new pants, and that's very frustrating. And then it like soaked all the way through the cushions, like someone got on the carpet, and so I had to clean the carpet, and like, okay, we're moving on because this has to go out tomorrow, so it's gotta be on here. Anyway, I knew I wanted to be a music teacher when I went on to stage for the first time with my college choir, and remember that feeling of performing and how much I loved it. And my husband was a music ed major, so he was kind of trying to convince me to move to do that. He was not even my boyfriend then, but yeah, he definitely influenced me on that one. But it just ended up being a really good combination of things I loved. I love teaching, I love languages, and I was a voice major, and so I sang in all different languages. I love history and culture, which is all wrapped up in song, and so it ended up working out really well. Mergen531 asked, how should you brainstorm course ideas? So course ideas are different than like product ideas because they are bigger and more, you know, in depth. So with a course idea, you really want to think about those things that you are really great at. So what are things you're really good at? What are things that you really enjoy? What are things you're really passionate about? That's the kind of stuff you want to really look at first. And so you might have something you're really passionate about, like if you're really passionate about centers, okay, then that might be a good thing to do a course on. Or if there's something that people ask you about all the time, like if you're good at technology and they're like, how do you do all these things with technology? How do you incorporate it in your classroom? And then you could do a course on that. So just kind of whatever's like that. Once you have an idea, the best thing to do is to do an outline, because that will show you whether you have enough to make a course, or if you don't have enough, or if you end up with a lot of stuff in one section. That happened to me. I was going to do a content marketing, and I was going to do like a blog email or a blog YouTube thing combined, but there was just so much content that I saw there was so much on blogs that I needed to separate it out and do just blogging and focus on that. So as you start outlining and thinking of the actual content going into it, it's going to help with figuring out what to do. Also, I would say definitely see if you can make sure people are interested in it. So maybe having like a freebie or an inexpensive product that is similar. So if you were, you know, talking about technology, maybe you have like a free quick guide to technology, or a paid but cheap, like here's a bunch of resource ideas or activities or something like that, where you can kind of like gauge the interest and make sure people are interested before you actually make the course, because courses are a lot of work. The viral teacher says, how do you decide what clip art and when to buy? Do you buy growing clip art bundles? You're probably not gonna like what I have to say, especially if you are a clip art artist, but I only purchase clip art if I am using it right this second. I'm very big on that across pretty much all of my businesses, and even just in life, like if I'm wanting to buy something to wear, I will only buy it if I know what I'm gonna wear it with and where I'm gonna wear it and stuff like that. Same kind of thing with clip art. I only purchase it if I'm buying it to use right now. So for example, if I just made that Nutcracker virtual field trip, right? So I needed ballet, you know, clip art to go with that. I didn't buy it ahead of time. I bought it when I was working on the product. I only buy them as they come up. And the reason being because then I know I'm actually gonna use them. I have occasionally purchased things in the sales that I have had on my wish list for a long time, and they were on sale, and I was like, okay, I know I'm going to use them. And I do typically eventually end up using them, but like I have a set of clip art that I purchased in the spring, I think, and it's now December and I still haven't used them. And I do believe that I am going to use it, but I'm not currently using it, and I'm like, I could have saved that money and, you know, purchase it when I need it instead. So I only buy what I need when I need it. I'm very particular about that, with a few exceptions. So things like I did buy like an instrument bundle and like kids playing instruments and like stuff like that, that's a little more general, that I can use across lots of products, and for those I do buy them in the sale, but they're always very premeditated. My only issue is Christmas clip art. I don't know what it is about Christmas clip art, but y'all, I'm like, I need all the Christmas clip art. All of it, I want it all. And that's my only downfall. The rest of the year I'm really great about being very particular, but that just helps me to make sure I'm saving money, because I'm not wasting it buying clip art I'm not actually gonna use. Madame Stressler, or if it's Madame, it'd be Stressler, I don't know, I'm sorry, says, what can you focus on TBT during this time of year? So if you're talking about seasonal resources, I would look to winter activities. So I'm doing some winter activities. I'm hoping to get out before January. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we shall see. I'm at least shooting for that. And then I like to really look at like my systems and stuff like that in this time of year, like going into the new year, systems, evergreen things, and just really think like what would be the most beneficial to my audience. But if you're looking for seasonal stuff, I'm assuming, then that would definitely be all those like wintry things, snowmen, snowflakes, that kind of stuff. Teaching Like a Coconut says, what are 5 tips when it comes to creating a small business, like tax registration, accounts, etc.? So 5 quick tips, definitely not everything. Number 1, I would say get an accountant. There's just so much about business that you as an individual probably don't know, and so I would highly recommend getting an accountant or a tax professional if you don't want to do an accountant. A tax preparer is someone who does your taxes every year, and so they at least know enough about the legal side of things that they can help you navigate that whole like having a business thing. Number 2 would be to save 25 to 30% of your income for taxes, because you will probably have to pay taxes on your TPT income. There is, if you start searching on the internet, people make this whole big thing about like there's a certain amount of money where if you're under that, it's considered a hobby and not a business, and so you don't have to pay tax on it. But like once you get to a certain point of sales, then it is a business. Here's my 2 cents on the matter. If you're planning to make money, it's a business, so just treat it like a business. Here, let's look up. Beautiful. An activity is considered a business if it is done with the expectation of making a product, while a hobby is considered a not-for-product. Yeah, there you go. So some other article, smallbusiness.chron.com, says your hobby earns a profit 3 out of the past 5 years, it's considered a business. But it also just depends on how much money you make and all sorts of things. So my 2 cents is, if you are planning, like it said, if you're planning to make money, it's a business. Therefore, save 25 to 30% for taxes, even if you don't need it. If you're not making a lot of money and you know, are paying taxes through your full-time job, like you might not need it at all, but having it in the bank is a lot more helpful than getting slapped with a huge tax bill at the end of the year. So I would highly recommend that. And you might not need the whole, I save 30%, and even my mom, who's my tax preparer, says that's a bit conservative, but I like to be a little extra conservative just in case, and so that's what I do, and I would recommend, especially at first, because you won't know how your taxes are going to be affected too much the first year. So it's better to just like have it saved. If you don't need it, you don't need it, but have it there just in case. Number 3 would be to get a separate bank account for your business. If you don't want to get a business bank account because that seems like a lot of work, then you can just get like a separate personal account, but be very careful about like, this is the business money, this is my money. And even if you're going to pay yourself, like put the money in your business account and then pay yourself. Or if you're going to put money into your business because you need to buy some clip art, then put money into your account and then transfer it over. Be very specific about, or I mean, transfer it into the business account and then buy it. Be very picky about business versus personal so that you have those lines drawn and so that you don't get into trouble around tax time with like receipts and confusion, and it's just so messy when you don't have a separate bank account. So just don't do it. Number 4 would be to talk to a professional specifically about your business and all the legal matters, because I'm not a lawyer. I can't really help you. And then there's different things for different states. And so there's lots of different things, but especially I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. Do not take this as advice. My advice here is to go talk to a professional. The reason being, I hear a lot of people who are like, oh, you need to have an LLC. You should have an LLC. Okay, which if you're not familiar, that's just a like form of business entity. Like you need to form a business entity. You do, that is a thing. Here in the United States, at least, like that needs to happen. Again, that's why you need to talk to a professional, but it does not need to be an LLC. And a lot of people don't need an LLC, and a lot of people have LLCs that do not need them, and sometimes it gets them into trouble. So make sure that you talk to a professional about your options as far as creating a business entity, and make sure that you do that. Talk to a professional. We'll find out what's right for you, and don't just do things because, I know, ironic, don't do things because random people on the internet tell you to do it, but go talk to a professional. Don't do that. And number 5 is, if you are planning to make money, then your business is a business and treat it as such, both with financial, stuff, and also just like mentally. If you want to make money, you need to treat it like a business. So treat it like a business. And by that, I mean having specific work hours, having specific systems for how you do things. Just be professional in every way that you can figure out how to be professional. So any more questions? Oh, last one. Teaching Like a Coconut also asked my favorite makeup go-tos, like eyeshadows. Slightly random, but I have a few eyeshadows that I wear. I kind of have a few that I like seasonally. I do admit I really like nice makeup, so that is a thing that I do. It's just, I just love it so much. And so I have a couple different palettes that I like. I have a travel naked palette, because the naked palette is like an obscene amount of money, and I was like, heck no. But I have like the travel version of it, and it's plenty. It has like 8 different eyeshadows, so I really like that one, especially in the spring and summer. I have one from Bare Minerals that I got at TJ Maxx that I really like. That one wasn't expensive. TJ Maxx has a lot of like last year's eyeshadows and stuff like that. I have one that I really like, that's the brand Becca, and I also got it at TJ Maxx. It's like really good fall colors. They're all browns. I like browns. And then my favorites are actually Chanel ones, which sounds super bougie, but they're cheaper than the Naked palette. So there's that. If you're like, there's like drugstore makeup and then like Sephora makeup, and all Sephora makeup is stupidly expensive. So even though it sounds more expensive and fancy because it's Chanel, it's really not. I even was looking at like non-Chanel makeup to buy, because I was like, oh, maybe something else will be cheaper, and I was like, they're just as expensive, what's the point? And then currently what I've been using is the Too Faced Christmas Coffee eyeshadow palette, which I have been loving. It's still mostly browns. It has like one burgundy and a sparkly green, which I thought I was never gonna use. I used it on tacky day, and I was like, I actually really like this. So fun little thing. I think the only one I can probably link for you would be that Christmas coffee one, so I'll link that one down below. The other ones are pretty old or from like TJ Maxx. So yeah, I like TJ Maxx because they have like nice brands. But anyway, that's all I got for you on this disastrous Q&A. I'm so tired. Okay. Y'all, that just like, sorry. That just like took it out of me. But the show must go on. So have an excellent day, and I'll see you next week.